Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jessica McDonald. I'm a knitting pattern designer and I'm coming to you from a tiny town in the mountains of Idaho. This is my knitting podcast where I talk to you about what I'm knitting and I share my whole design process with you. If you like to watch videos about knitting, please like this video and subscribe to my channel so that more knitters can see my videos. Today is June 15th and I finally have a finished object to share with you all. If you watched last episode, you will remember that I cast on a ton of sweaters over the course of the winter, and every time I got to the point where I needed to knit the sleeves, I just started another sweater, which was a lot of fun while it lasted, but now I am having to knit all of the sleeves. I have 2 sweaters done, that's 4 sleeves done, and I have another finished object sweater to share with you here that my sample knitter knit. And I've started the sleeves on the other 2 sweaters, but I'm not going to share them with you today. One is Bora, the all-over cabled sweater. I'm not going to share that one with you today because I want to see if the sleeve actually works out this time before I show it to you. And the other one doesn't have much progress made. I basically just picked up the sleeve and now I'm just going to wait until this coming weekend, which next weekend, this is a weekend day too. It's going to wait until next weekend. My sister is getting married next weekend, and so there's going to be quite a bit of driving to go over to her wedding, and a plain stockinette sleeve is a fantastic thing to knit in the car. So I'm going to save that for all of my car driving because I don't actually have anything else that I can knit in the car. I can't knit cables in the car. I can't knit something where I have to constantly look at the chart. And with cables, I have to constantly look at the chart. I cannot memorize cables. I can memorize lace and I can memorize color work, but I cannot memorize cables at all. So I have to look at the chart and I have to mark off my rows and I have to look at my knitting. So that one is a totally unsuitable one for knitting in the car because if I'm looking down all the time, I start to get nauseous. So the stockinette sleeve is saved for car knitting. And then I also have a sock that I want to get past the heel so that I can knit the whole foot in the car too, because I can do that in the car pretty easily. But I'll show you that next time, and hopefully I have some good progress made on those ones next time. But first, let me show you, well, not first, but today, let me show you all of the finished objects that I have today. Starting with what I have on, which is the Violet cardigan. Last time I think I had part of a sleeve, like half of a sleeve left to go. It is now finished, buttons are sewn on, and the final pattern photos have also been taken. So the Violet cardigan and also the little Violet cardigan are both going to be released a week from this next Monday. They're going to be released on June 24th. If you like these patterns, please sign up for my email newsletter. The link is in the description box down below this video. If you sign up for my email newsletter, you'll get an email as soon as the pattern is live, and you'll also get the best discount on the new pattern. And also, I had somebody comment on one of my Instagram posts saying that they live in the UK, I think it was, and it's difficult or very expensive for her to acquire some of the yarns that I use, since I use a lot of yarns from American yarn stores that are made in America. If you are in the same boat, please make sure you sign up for my email newsletter. One of the emails I always send out during the launch period is an email all about yarn substitutions. I tell you what to look for in a different yarn to substitute into the pattern, and I give you a list of yarns I think would work really well for the pattern as well. So if you're somebody who wants a little bit of help figuring out what yarn to use instead of the yarn I used in the sample, make sure you're signed up for my email newsletter because you will get an email all about it. Since we're talking about yarn, let me tell you about the yarn that I used in this sample. So this is Bare Naked Wool's Better Breakfast Fingering. I chose this yarn because I knew it was going to last for a really long time. I have a sweater, Blizzard, which was knit in the DK weight version of this yarn, and it has worn just absolutely amazingly. The sweater still looks brand new even though it's several years old, and it's very soft and it's very drapey, and I knew I wanted something nice and soft and drapey for this cardigan, so I decided to use Better Breakfast Fingering for it. So, little overview. The Violet cardigan is top down drop shoulder construction, and it has this lace at the hem. Let me stand up and show you. It has this lovely simple little lace section at the hem. I know that a lot of people want to see this and my hair is usually in the way. So I'm gonna put my hair back and button it up and then you can see what the neckline looks like. It has a crew neckline just like the tee does. So that this design is a sister design to the Violet tee, which I released last year, and it was so popular that I decided to knit a cardigan. Also, I really needed a lightweight cardigan. So here it is all buttoned up. It's got a crew neckline. The tee also has a crew neckline, but this neckline is just a tiny bit higher. I wanted something, because the tee comes down a little bit like this. I decided to make it a tiny bit higher in the cardigan so that it's a little bit warmer. Here's how the neckline looks. Now I'm going to unbutton it because it's actually quite warm sitting here in the sunshine next to the window. So the buttons, I'll show you the buttons. The buttons are from Bare Naked Wools as well. They actually have a really good selection of buttons on their website, which I didn't know, because whenever I'm on there shopping, I'm just looking for yarn. Whenever I'm anywhere shopping, I'm just looking for yarn, and I don't really pop over to the notions section. I really don't ever pop over to the notions section. I only shop for notions and things if I specifically need them. I never just like browse notions. But anyway, these are from Bare Naked Wools. The buttons are from Bare Naked Wools. I can't remember. I think it's the Margit style, M-A-R-G-I-T. I think so. I will include that information in the emails that I send out when I release this pattern. I put the exact same ones on the kids' cardigan. They're just these really pretty light gray, shiny shell buttons. They're 12mm button. It's the size you need for this sweater. So this sweater is going to be out on June 24th. June 24th is the release date on this. I'm wearing it over top of a dress from Not Perfect Linen, which they discontinued this gingham color, so you can't get this gingham color anymore, which is sad because it's really pretty. There's the Violet cardigan. I'm not sure what else to say about it. Let me tell you about the little Violet cardigan. One thing I'm trying to do going forward is every time I release a new pattern, also release a children's size version of this. It's because my kids don't have enough sweaters. The last year or two, I focused a lot on adult size patterns, and my kids don't have any sweaters. They really don't have any sweaters. There are hand-me-downs and everybody gets like one sweater a year, but that's just not enough sweaters. I found myself buying fast fashion sweaters for my girls because they needed a sweater, and I'm a knitter. My children should never have to buy a sweater from a store. So moving forward, I'm going to try to make children's sized versions of every design that I put out, unless the design is too big to really scale well on a children's pattern. So like Autumn Snowfall, that giant star at the bottom, that's not going to scale into a kid's size pattern at all. So that one's not going to have a kid size. Here is Little Violet. It is identical to the adult version, except I have done a little less lace at the hem to kind of keep the same scale. So this is 2 repeats of the lace pattern, whereas the adult version is 3 repeats of the lace pattern. So that's the only difference between the kids and the adult version. So this one will also be out on June 24th. We took pictures of both of these sweaters last weekend and they turned out absolutely adorable. I also really enjoy knitting sweaters for my children because every time we do a pattern photo shoot, it gives me a good opportunity to have a little photo shoot of that kid, and I can take some really cute pictures of them, because usually they're just, you know, in shorts and a t-shirt and messy hair and running around wild, which is adorable too. But every once in a while it's nice to have them dressed up a little bit and their hair a little bit neat, and then just take some really nice pictures of them so that I have that, because they're only little for a little bit. So these are Little Violet cardigan, and they're coming out on Monday, June 24th. Make sure you're signed up for my email newsletter so that you don't miss these sweaters. Next up is, oh, I'm gonna take this one off. I'm gonna take this one off and put the other one on so that you can see it. This one doesn't have a name. It also hasn't been tech edited and the test knit hasn't been started yet, but the sweater is finished, which is, it was just pretty rare for me. Usually I knit like one sleeve and then send it for tech editing and start the test knit while I knit the second sleeve. So this one is unnamed. Again, here's the neckline for those of you who really want to see it. There's the neckline. It's got a nice crew neckline. And while we're here with my hair out of the way, you can see it is a top-down raglan with a lovely shaped neckline. It is cropped. I cropped this one as well because I really need more cardigans to wear with my dresses. So there it is. It's just, wait, it's right at my belly button is where it's cropped. Which is a really nice length for me for, hang on, let me move this chair, for cardigans. Shrink a little. The appeal in this one is that I have taken great care to make sure that these sleeves have a little bit of positive ease in them. You can see there's a little bit of positive ease in here so that you can comfortably put this sleeve on over any shirt. When I was knitting it, I was wearing a flannel shirt and I made sure that the sleeve fit nicely over top of the flannel shirt so that it's not tight and bunching. And then you have a little bit of volume right before the cuff, just a little bit of volume. It's not full on balloon sleeve, and it's not that style where you knit the whole sleeve straight and then you do a bunch of decreases right before the wrist. That I tried that. I started off with that, with just knitting the sleeve straight, and I got to about the middle of my forearm and I just hated it so much. It was fine until about the elbow, but then once you got past the elbow where your arm starts to narrow quite a bit in your forearm, it was just too much fabric and it was just flapping around and I just really, really hated it. So I ripped it clear back and I reknit it again. So you have some gradual decreases down through the sleeve to slim it up a bit, to keep it from being too bulky in your forearm. And then you do a bunch of decreases right here. Not all of the decreases that you ever do in the sleeve, but you decrease really rapidly right here, right before you start the cuff. And then it has a nice tight cuff so that you have enough ease in the sleeve that you can easily layer it over top of something, but it's not just this massive, huge, loose sleeve flopping around and getting in the way. So there it is. You pick up to do the neckline and the button band after the rest of the sweater is knitted. There's no short rows in this one. I'm actually planning to film a full in-depth video tutorial of how to knit this sweater as well. So if you've been around my YouTube channel for a while, you will know about my How to Knit Your First Sweater video. If you don't know about my How to Knit Your First Sweater video, it's down somewhere in the videos down below this one. I'll put a link to it in the description box down below this. But I have a video titled How to Knit Your First Sweater, and it goes through one of my other pullover patterns, and it's a 4-hour long video, and we go through the entire thing together, and I show you how to do the whole thing. Literally, we do this. It is an intensive How to Knit This Sweater class that is available for free to anyone who wants to learn how to knit a sweater. After I released that video, I got a few requests to do one for a cardigan. So this cardigan that is still yet unnamed is the cardigan pattern that I'm going to use for that video. So when this cardigan pattern comes out, which I'm planning for September at this point, when this pattern comes out in September, it's also going to be accompanied with a massive video on how to knit it, where I can walk you through it from start to finish so that you can learn how to knit a cardigan if you want to. So this one's not named. It's going to come with a fantastic tutorial. I really like the sleeves. I really like how they have some volume in them but it's not overwhelming. It's not too much. It's just a little bit of ease, and there's a little bit of looseness right before the cuff, but it's not a ton. And also the cuff fits nice and snug. That's one thing that I really need in my sweaters. It is a pet peeve for me when the cuff is really loose, because I wear my sweaters all the time, and I wear them while I'm cooking and while I'm cleaning and doing all of the things. And if your cuff is loose, like if you're trying to chop vegetables and you're wearing a sweater with a loose cuff, your cuff is like dragging on the cutting board, and you shove it up, but it's not tight, so it doesn't stay there and it falls down. You have to push it up again. It's really annoying. So I really like a nice snug cuff so that everything stays on your arm and out of the way when you're doing things, but then also if you need to, you can pull it up and it will stay put. I'm really pleased with these sleeves. Look how beautiful. I feel really awkward showing my arm like this. This one is not named. If you have any name suggestions for it, please put them in the description box down below this video, because I could really use some help naming this very simple sweater pattern. Now, that is all of the sweaters that I have to show you today. I thought I would show you the first finished sock. Oh, and this is in my bag from Woolen Works Designs. There's their lovely logo. I'll move my face so it'll focus on it. This is the Among the Wildflowers sock. It's knit in Retrosaria Mondim yarn base, which is a fingering weight yarn that can be used for socks. So here's the first one all done. I'll move my head. I really, really love it. Look how pretty that cuff is. It's just really fun and joyful and warm. And I just really love it. So here's the first one. It's all done. It's been blocked. I don't actually own a sock blocker, and I don't see any need to. So I just block them like I do my sweaters. I soak them in water and then I just lay them out flat. You can see like it kind of sucks in right where the heel starts because of the way the heel flap and gusset works. Kind of does that. But when I put it on my foot, gonna fill that out, and it's not gonna look funny when it's on my foot. So I just washed these like I wash my sweaters, and I laid it out flat to dry on my picnic table on my deck, and an hour later it was dry, and that's how I blocked this sock. So there's the first one, and the second one is right here. Barely anything. I just started the first row of color work, but I haven't even finished the first row of color work, so that's where I am. On the second sock, it's taking me a little bit to get it done. We're not going to take pictures next weekend, but I'm hoping the following weekend we'll be able to take the pictures, so I need to have it done by then. I did the yardage calculation and I started the test knit on this one, and if you buy the 3 skeins that you'll need, because you need the copper and the white and the blue, but if you buy the 3 skeins you need, you'll have enough to knit 2 pairs of socks if you swap the blue and the copper in the second pair of socks. And that's all the way up to the largest size. You'll have enough yardage to make 2 pairs of socks if you buy the yarn recommended for these. So there's Among the Wildflowers. Half finished object. One is done, one is not, but it'll be done soon enough. And that is all I have to show you today. Thank you for being here and watching clear till the end. I'm not going to see you again until the beginning of July at the very earliest. We have swimming lessons that start on Monday, and we live out in a tiny town in the mountains of Idaho. There's no swimming lessons out here where we live. I have to go to a town a fair bit away to get swimming lessons. So even though the lesson itself is like 40 minutes long, swimming lessons takes 5 hours out of the day, just in, or more like 4.5, no, 5, because you have to count getting in and out of the car too, which takes a while when you have a whole pile of children. So 5 hours a day out of every single day for the next, well, not every single day, weekdays for the next 2 weeks is going to put put a huge damper on my ability to accomplish anything at all. So I will see you all in July with hopefully some more finished sweaters to share with you. And I ordered yarn for 3 more sweaters. I feel a little bit naughty having ordered more yarn, even though I have 2 sweaters still on the needles. I still ordered yarn for more sweaters. I have yarn for more sweaters coming, and maybe I'll have started 1 or 2 of those by the time I podcast again. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, sign up for my email newsletter, and have fun knitting in the 2 weeks until I see you again. Bye!